Hello? Hello?
Podcast Network Asia.
Hi, this is Alec Cuenca, and you're listening to Small Talk. My name is Alec Cuenca. I am the host of the podcast, Small Talk Podcast, which is the number 2 in the self-improvement charts and Apple Podcast charts, and one of the top 50 podcasts here in the Philippines and Spotify charts. So yes, I'm under Podcast Network Asia, the podcast under Podcast Network Asia, where we also have a lot of amazing podcasts. So if you guys want to, if you guys like to listen to podcasts, go ahead and check out our roster of amazing podcasters, and I'm sure that you're gonna love each and every one of them. Hindi man lahat, pero most of them, I'm sure that you're gonna find someone or some podcast that you're gonna like. So please check them out. But you are somewhat lucky because I am, I've been thinking about this concept for quite some time now. Actually, for the past week, I've taken the Holy Week. Nagpahinga lang ako, nag-isip-isip. And this is a topic that I really want to talk about. And this is called finding your why. Yeah, I know that sounds really nice, but what does that really mean? Kasi funny thing, kasi kwento ko na, yung kapatid ko, yung pinsan ko, na lumapit siya sa akin, tapos tinanong niya ako, Kuya Alec, I want to create a brand for for my own business, which is photography studio, videography, photography, something like that. So we went to the whiteboard, and I asked him, why do you want to create the business? And then he sat there. He didn't have any initial, answer or reaction to that question. He just sat there and think. What's funny is that most of us want to do something, or we're almost, most of the time we're already doing something, but we don't know the reason why. We don't know the reason why we're doing the things that we're doing. And that sucks. Because along the way, if you don't have a why, and I really believe this, when you have a strong why, that will be your foundation moving forward. Kung alam mo kung bakit mo ginagawa yung mga bagay na ginagawa mo, kahit anong dumating, gagawin mo pa rin siya. Okay? A lot of people think you need to be hardworking, you need to be you need to be disciplined or some sort. Those are very important factors, don't get me wrong. But what's the main important thing that you need to have, that you need to understand in yourself? It's your why. Bakit mo ginagawa yung mga bagay na ginagawa mo? So let me ask you guys, what is your why? In the thing that you're doing, whether you're working, whether you're creating content, whether you're performing, whether, you're just sitting there and doing nothing, what is your why? Why do you wake up in the morning? Why are you doing the things that you're basically doing? Okay, so back to the story. Tinanong ko yung pinsan ko, sabi ko, why are you doing the things? Why do you want to create a business? Why do you want to create a brand? And wala siya masagot. So I said, okay, I'll come back to you after 1 minute. Pag-isipan mo yan. So umalis ako after 1 minute ng tubig. So bumalik ako, and I asked him again, why do you want to create a brand? Why do you want to create a business? And he said, well, because I want to be the greatest photographer here in Olongapo City. Bold, right? Fierce. Declaration of success. Now that's good. But that's just the start of understanding the why of a person. See, what I learned is that the strongest whys that we have, comes from something bigger than ourselves. Something that caters not just to our own needs, but also in service of other people. I've talked about this before, na understanding your passion is very important, but that's not the end goal. Your passion is just part of the equation. Your passion combined with service, that will be your purpose in life. You may do the thing that you love, but if it's not ultimately your purpose in life, At the end of the day, you'll still feel unfulfilled. That's hard. You know that something is your passion and you want to do it. But you still feel empty. You still feel that something is missing. That freaking sucks. And so I warned my cousin, that's a great why. That's a good why, but not as great as it can be. I asked him again, well, why do you want to be the greatest photographer here in Olongapo City? And again, he's dumbfounded. He doesn't know what to say. He doesn't know what to say. So I'll leave you again. Think about it. Why? And so I went to my other cousins and we talked. Then I came back to him. Okay, why? He said, because I want to make my parents proud. See, that's a bigger why. And that's a why that doesn't just involve yourself. Because if it's only for yourself, if you're only doing things for yourself, magagawa mo yan. You might be successful, but you won't be fulfilled. Because all you are doing is fulfilling the needs and the wants na meron ka, the desires that you have. But it's not ultimately what you will leave in this world, what your name or what your image will be. When your why is founded on the legacy that you want to build in this life, that is something worth fighting for. That is something worth believing into. And when you have that, dire-diretso lang. Kahit gaano kahirap, kahit gaano katagal, kahit gaano kabagal, dire-diretso lang. You know, so doon na tayo sa storya. Sabi niya, he wants to make his parents proud. Ooh, that's a great why. Right? You want to make your parents happy. But I asked him again, why? You know, as I really believe na pag ang tao, tinanong mo about these types of questions. So why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? At least ask them 3 times and then you'll get to the real answer. So when I asked this cousin of mine and I asked him, hey, why do you want to make your parents proud? And he said that, well, I saw the disappointments that they've experienced before sa mga dati nilang experience, and I don't want that disappointment to repeat again. So that is the deeper why. And that deeper why is not just I want to be the best photographer. You know, it's on not only on the self level, not only on somebody else's level, but it's a deeper connection of the emotion that was connected to a particular experience before that made you want to change or at least try to influence the future that you want to have. And your why, finding your why, knowing your why, you know, your why comes from a painful experience. A lot of us, ayaw natin nasaktan. Of course, sino gusto masaktan? Sakit yun eh. Painful experiences are very painful. Diba? Your why comes from pain. And pain is something that we almost always try to avoid. Masakit yan. Iwas tayo dyan. Diba? Kaya pag may, for example, we touch a hot stove and then nasaktan tayo. Mainit eh. So, ang nangyari, di natin nahawakan ulit. Diba? Tumama yung dulo ng daliri ng paa natin sa lamesa. Aray. Sakit, diba? So, we make sure na hindi na tayo lalakad sa ganong direksyon. Iniwan tayo ng jowa natin na may kung anumang dahilan. Alam natin sa susunod na mag-iingat na tayo pag naghanap tayo ng jowa. Pain. Diba? Common denominator among all of those things are pain. Is pain. And most of the time, iniiwasan natin yung pain na yun. Ayaw nating nasasaktan. But the truth is, pain is inevitable. Darating at darating sa point sa buhay natin na masasaktan tayo. Pain is nature's way of telling us that we need to change or we need to act, at least. Pain is something that tells us we are undergoing a change in our life. And sometimes the more we resist the pain, the more we suffer. But as early as we could, accept and just live with the fact that there will be pain, the less suffering that we will experience. And your why comes from the pain na naramdaman natin. For example, ako, I started doing videos. And probably nauta na sinikay sa story ko to. Pero I started creating videos. I started doing content. After I've experienced a great amount of pain. Back in 2017, I was heartbroken for the very first time in my life. Sakit. But I was able to see, moving forward, after a year, 2 years after, I was able to see that pain was meant to happen. That pain that I experienced was meant to be, dapat pala na maramdaman ko yung sakit na yun para matuto ako. And because natuto ako from that pain, I've learned to manage to teach myself how to be strong. And I realized that I could be much stronger than I could ever imagine because of that pain. And so I was depressed. I felt alone. I felt na wala akong matatakbuhan, wala akong makakausap. Nobody told me that it was okay. Nobody told me that it was normal to go through those things. So I felt so lonely. But because of that feeling, I promised myself that I would create content to make sure that nobody, or at least I could help someone who goes through the same thing, who thinks that he or she is alone, and remind them that it's okay. I've learned my life's purpose. I'm not saying that this will be my purpose, forever, but in this moment, this is my purpose. And I was able to learn that because of the pain na nangyari. Dahil nasaktan ako, dahil natuto ako, ngayon alam ko na kung bakit nandito ako. No, it made sense. But the pain is just the first step of the equation. So let's go back to the point that I was doing earlier in learning your why. I told you my story kung bakit ko ginagawa ko. Why I'm creating content, because I felt the pain, and I want to make sure that people understand that the pain that they might be experiencing is normal. But it doesn't need to be something drastic just like that, or something very dramatic. So I really believe medyo dramatic talaga yung buhay ko. It doesn't need to be like that. Hindi kailangan ganun. Kahit yung simpleng ganito na lang. Kung hindi mo alam kung bakit mo ginagawa yung mga bagay na ginagawa mo, think about the lowest point in your life. Like the lowest. Yung talagang di mo na kaya. Gusto mo na mag-breakdown. And think about it. And then ask yourself, what could I make, how could I make the future different from the pain from the experience that I had before? And so make sure that once you have that vision. So for example, dati, lumaki ka sa isang family na broken, na hindi napakita kung paano dapat mahalin ng isang bata. Lumaki ka nang hindi mo nakita yung mother and father mo kung paano ka dapat mahalin. That's a painful experience. Now use that to make sure that the future will not repeat itself. Now your why can be as deep as making sure that my sons and my grandsons, granddaughters, will not experience the same shit that I have experienced. Sorry, nagmura ako. Same stuff, sabi ko. Hindi ako nagmura. Pero yeah, make sure that doesn't happen again. And that is a stronger why. And that is a why that you will keep on hold on to. That just goes beyond yourself. Yes. Okay, so Melbourne has a question. How do we shift from a failed why into a new one? Great question. What we need to understand in understanding our whys is that it's not fixed. Our whys can evolve. Before akong ma-heartbroken, alam ko na gusto kong gawin tong mga ginagawa kong to. Pero I had the sole reason of, I just want to be famous. Medyo papansin ako noon eh. I want to be famous. I want to be talking in front of the crowd and just people looking at me and talagang, yeah, they're praising me. That's what I wanted nung una. But as you can see, that's a selfish why. And that's a why that failed me. So your why might start, in a very selfish manner, but that doesn't mean that it's a failure. You can refine your why. You can make it better if it's not working for you. If you don't know what your why is, that's good. That's great. You don't need to panic. You don't need to worry. A lot of us are being pressured right now. Oh, I should know my why because a lot of people know theirs. No, it's not. It's not like that. We all have different time frames. We all have different timetables, and through our own pace, dun lang natin malalaman kung bakit natin ginagawa yung mga bagay-bagay. But the important thing is we don't stop searching for that why. As long as we're trying to learn what our whys are or what our why is, that's enough. Magugulat ka lang pagising mo, alam mo na kung bakit mo ginagawa yung mga bagay na ginagawa mo. Okay ba yan? So I hope that answered your question. Okay, so now proceeding to the thing that I am saying, if you don't know what's your why, then ask yourself, ano ba yung pinaka-lowest na point ng buhay ko? And from there, understand what are the things that you want to change. Ano gusto mong mabago mula dun? Ano gusto mong hindi maramdaman ng 10-year older version ng sarili mo? Ano yung gusto niyong baguhin? And that will be your why. But don't fixate yourself on the future, kung ano yung mangyari future. I want you to hold on to that why because I want to live a life that, that is known to be very kind, about love and peace, and hold on to that and match your actions right now. Match your actions right now to make sure that your why stands up. Okay, we're not just talking about, ito yung ginagawa ko yung mga bagay na ginagawa ko tapos hindi mo naman pala ginagawa. You know your why, now you need to execute on it. You need to hold on to it. But understanding your why, finding your why, it's a very, very delicate thing na kailangan, critical thing na kailangan ng lahat ng tao. So please understand why you're doing the things you're doing. And you know why? You know why you need to know your why? Because if you don't, you'll be acting like a robot, just doing the things that you were told to do without actually knowing why you're doing the things that you're doing. Okay? And here's another thing. So, ayun. Here's another thing about dealing with whys or finding your whys. A lot of us think that money is a good why. Sige. Sino dito ang... And this is a very controversial topic. I know. Pero sino dito yung nagtatrabaho para sa pera? Lang. If I ask you right now, what's your why? Well, because I want to be rich. I want to earn money. That's what's up. So if you have that why, I suggest that you slow down and reflect and ask yourself, why do you want the money? Because if that is your why, then that's not going to hold up. It's not. I have seen people a lot older than me, people in my age, that their main reason or their main why they're doing the things that they're doing is because of money, and they'll get the money. They will. But that won't make them fulfilled. Will still leave an empty part inside of them. Money is an important thing. You need money. And that's an extra motivator for you. But if that's your main why, it won't make you live a life that you will be proud of. I saw a video earlier. Money is very important. True. Money can buy you a house, but not a home. Money can buy you a clock, but not time. Money can buy you bed, but not sleep. Money can buy you insurance, but not safety. Money can buy a lot of things, but it can't buy everything. And it can't buy the things that will ultimately make you fulfilled. Money is just one part of the equation that you want to solve. But money is not the main equation that you have. And the funny thing is, alam mo, I've been creating content for 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021. Wow. Sorry, nahit lang ako bigla. 5 years ko na siya ginagawa. I've been creating content for at least 5 years. Noong una, vlog lang. Ganun. I've been doing content creation for 5 years now. And when was the first time that I got money out of it? Probably last December or November. I've been doing it for 5 years. But on the 5th year, dun lang ako nakakuha ng kahit piso man lang from the thing that I'm doing. A lot of people are asking me, a lot of people are teasing me, a lot of people, I can hear my relatives, my family saying that he's just wasting his time. Wala nga siyang trabaho eh. Wala nga siyang nakukuha. Wala nga siyang pera dyan. But I kept on doing it. Because my why is not money. My why is trying to help other people. But you know what the funny part about thing is? What's the funny part about that? Is that the money came in the least expected way that it could come in my life. But it did. And I was so happy that I got the money, that I was receiving money. But it's not like how when someone comes up to me and says that I've managed to help them in their lives. I was very happy that I got money. But you know what really keeps me going? It's when someone messages me that you managed to save me tonight. I don't know who you are. I don't know. You don't know me. But thank you for your podcast. Thank you for your videos. It helped me a lot. That's what keeps me going. And every single day, I can go back to sleep. And I could go back to sleep knowing that if I die in my sleep, I'm okay. I'm okay. Funny is I got a tattoo here. And it's written Memento Mori. Yan. Small little cute tattoo. And I wrote there Memento Mori. And Memento Mori means remember that you must die. But in remembering that you must die, for me, it's a subtle way that reminds myself that a subtle way to remind myself that I should live. Not for the money, not for the material things in this world, but for something much bigger than that, much deeper than that. I remind myself every single day that you're going to die soon. So make sure that you really know what life is about. And it's not about the material things. It's about the relationships that you create with the people around you. So if your why is just connected to the money, okay, you'll probably live a happy life, but not a fulfilled one. And I'm not just talking about myself here. You can see it from every single successful person that have ever walked in this planet. The story goes the same. We're not just paying attention. We think we can cheat with the patterns. We think we could change the pattern. We think that money could be something that could really, really make me happy. But it won't. It won't. Thank you for listening to Small Talk. For more updates, you can follow me at Small Talk Podcast on Instagram and on TikTok. That's at Small Talk Podcast on Instagram and on TikTok.
The views and opinions expressed by the podcast creators, hosts, and guests do not necessarily reflect the official policy and position of Podcast Network Asia. Any content provided by the people on the podcast are of their own opinion and are not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, club, organization, company, individual, or anyone or anything.